YouTube continues to demonetize many videos. If you like this channel, please click on my Patreon page, link in the description. Hey comic fans, this is John, host of Video Games in the World. Today's Comic Monday review is a graphic novel adaptation of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. As you all know, Rogue One was released in the movie theaters in 2016, a year after the release of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. And to be honest, I like Rogue One a lot more than The Force Awakens because it felt a lot more like Star Wars than The Force Awakens itself. Although I'm not fond of the Disney Star Wars, I still like Rogue One. Force Awakens was okay, but The Last Jedi was mediocre in many ways. Anyways, let us begin our Comic Mondays with Rogue One. Enjoy. The Death Star, the Empire's ultimate weapon, is nearing completion, and the Rebel Alliance may be doomed. Enter Jyn Erso, daughter of the Death Star's reluctant creator, who desperately seeks to save her father from Imperial control. On her quest, she'll join forces with rebel spy Cassian Andor, reprogrammed Imperial droid K-2SO, and other supporters of the rebel cause, only to discover that their goals may differ crucially from her own. Flashbacks are shown on how Jyn Erso was being abandoned on Tamsye Prime to her imprisonment, and also how Cassian Andor and K-2SO met, as well as the once Imperial droid became a valuable asset of the Rebel Alliance. Well, I gotta say that the story was the same. However, the flashbacks of the characters gave it more depth and made the story actually enjoyable. However, you gotta admit that the drawings were pretty neat and how they were faithful to the likenesses of Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, Donnie Yen, and so on. In Rogue One, Chirrut Îmwe is still my favorite character because he's so badass, humble, and a total ass-kicking believer of the Force. When I saw the movie for the first time, I wondered if he was Force sensitive, but then I started to believe he was during that famous "I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me" scene. I kind of wish he had a flashback story in this graphic novel because it would have been very interesting to learn more about him and his good friend Baze Malbus, but I suppose it's in the novelization of the film. The Cassian origin story was also very interesting on how he befriended K-2SO, Imperial droid, and reprogrammed him to be a fighter for the side of the rebellion. However, some loyalists of the Legends canon will prefer the story of Kyle Katarn obtaining the Death Star plans. Kyle Katarn's story is great, no doubt about it, but I still like how Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor, at the cost of their lives, obtain the plans and send it to the rebellion. And finally, in conclusion, I like this adaptation and it felt like watching the movie again. The flashback stories were interesting, although it would have been awesome to see an origin story of Baze and Chirrut. Drawings were well done, faithful to the movie, and good writing as well. My final score for this graphic novel is a B+. Until next time, comic fans, this is John, host of Video Games in the World. Have a good one, and may the Force be with you. Later.